What's up, guys? So I just wanted to show a cool little thing that I got going here. So what we're messing with is cruise controls today, and I know the cluster helper's coming out, and I want my column kits and cruise controls to be compatible with the column helpers. And what I'm talking about is these messenger buttons. You got your up, down, left, right, and you press OK. So when you're messing with the 6-7 clusters, which I don't have one around here, you can mess with the menu on the cluster. So I've been getting asked, oh shoot, how do we do both and both? How do you get my kit to work with that? So I had to do some figuring out. I basically got my hands on all the cruise controls for every truck from 99 to 2016. And I sat down and basically figured out the values of every single button throughout all the years, and basically then re-engineered the new buttons to work like the old buttons. So like this one right here, it's a 2016 switch that works in a 99 to 04. And then here, and what's kind of cool is 05 to 07, the cruise control is plug and play for the 08 to going 08 to 10. So if you have a 6.0 and you go to 08, it should just be plug and play. So on the white truck that I built, it's on my YouTube videos, that one was plug and play. So I tested it, it's plug and play. So it's kind of cool. But if you want to go from 05 to 07 to 11 to 16, the values and all that was completely different. And so that one I actually had to sit down and figure out. So my main goal was basically to be able to utilize these messenger buttons for the clusters without having to sacrifice the cruise. So basically you could use them both. Oh, this thing, shut up. So basically you could use the cluster buttons and the cruise buttons. So what most guys do is they mail me an 08 harness and cruise, and then they mail me their 6.7 one, and I repin it and swap everything around. And then one other cool little trick is, see how that says cancel and resume? I end up switching this side to off and the other side to on, like this one. And so where I get those buttons is I steal them off the 08. So the buttons are interchangeable. So that's a cool little fun fact. So I swap out the buttons, I modify the circuit board, and then I repin this 11 to 16 harness, repin it into the 08. And then what I've been doing for the messenger buttons, because you need the feed and return line, so you need 2 wires in the 08 clock spring that you need to be able to use. And so what I use is the phone pins, because I don't use, our old trucks don't have sync. We're not using sync anymore with the aftermarket stereo, so we have 2 extra wires. So I've been using the phone one. And that's it. So you got your 2 wires coming in for the cruise, that circuit, and then you have a separate circuit coming in for the cruise or the cluster buttons. So you have 2 circuits and 4 wires. So basically that's how it works. So basically these are the values that I'm looking for on the cluster messenger value. I wrote them down as messenger values. It's a messenger button, that's what it's called, I guess. But let's see if we plug this bad boy in. Is this a stock one? Yeah. 1 second, guys. So right here I have a stock cruise button. Besides the buttons, don't mind the buttons. So basically we're just testing out these things. And basically I want to be able to hit, left, up, down, and get these values. We want to see 300, 600. Well, actually when we press left or right, it's going to say 0. We're missing a value. We want to be able to see 0 right there. So we'll go ahead, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we got the meter set up. At idle, we want it to read 4320, 43.2, same thing. And then we're going to press this one, and it should read 0. Yeah. And so there's going to be a little bit of tolerance. So it's, some of the stuff's not going to be exact numbers. The manufacturers, they can't, mass produce, resistors and all this stuff. And I have like a couple books over here with all the small, tiny SMD resistors. Some of these resistors are small. None of y'all seen this stuff that I have messed with? These are the small guys I mess with. There's about like 10 million of them right here. Let's see if we can zoom in. That's it right there. See that little black thingy in each little slot. I don't even know where I'm zoomed in at. There's one, there's a second, you know, that's how small some of the resistors I mess with are. But see, these things are mass produced, and see how they have that 1% right there? That means there's a 1% tolerance. So if it's reading, let's look at one. That'd be easy to do. So like this one's 100. This is 100 ohms. So within 1%. So it might read 99, it might read 100, it might read 101. But you know, that's what you get to play with. So and the truck knows it, everyone knows it. But even the same thing with these types of resistors. So numbers are not going to be exact. And so when they're exact, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty cool. So, but other than that, when we push left, we're going to want to see 0. So this is stock buttons. So we're trying to get the stock readouts. See, that one's off a little bit, 302. We should see 600. And then 1110. Close enough. And then OK should be 2110. Yeah, right there, close enough. And then idle's 4320. So yeah, so boom, that's what we want to read for a stock readout. So now when I swap over to this one that I built for an 05, I want these messenger buttons to read the same thing, since I technically didn't modify them. And we'll just speed through it real quick. So it should be 0, yep, 300, 600, you know, 1110, 2110, and then 4320. So boom, now we know the 05 to 2010 one works. Oh shit, dropping parts. All right, the next one I have is for the 99 to 04 guys. And then, you know, it should be the same thing. 0, up, 300, looking for 6. And we're looking for 1110. See how this one's off by 4? That's okay, the truck still knows what's going on. 21, yep, and then 43.2. Oh, so this one, see how that one's off just like a little bit, but it's not off enough to cause a problem. So it's not going to get any better than that. So we got 05 to 10, 99 to 04, and then you got the stock 11 to 16 one. So now we're going to jump this over to the cruise buttons, and we're going to go from there. So now that we have our messenger readouts, we're going to swap these pins over on the clock spring. I hope I'm on the right ones. So we'll start with 11 to 16 stock ones. Is that the right button? Yeah, okay, cool. So looking at the values, I mean, they're all different throughout all the years. They're very similar. What's kind of crazy to me is the 11 to 16 messenger buttons are the same values as like a 05 cruise control. So and a 2010 cruise control. So it's kind of interesting how the cluster values are the same, but you know, if it works, it works. So so we got our stock readout, or stock one. So when I push these buttons like on, I want it to read 0. Yeah, pretty close. And then, you know, this off one I think is 120. Yeah, there it is. So basically, you know, just back and forth, it should be 600. So yeah, so you get the idea. So we got the stock one. The stock 671 works correctly. We went down the cheat sheet. We know what we're looking for. So let's bump over to 99 to 04, because now you know the cluster circuit works. What about the cruise? So this will be the on button, and then set to slow down we're gonna need it to read 120. Because remember, it used to read 300. 118, almost 119. We'll take it. Now we need it to read 680 instead of 600. Oh, my bad. That's 670. That's close enough. She'll know what's going on. And then, what else? Off should just be 0. Yep, boom, voila. All right, so now, boom, we know we got the 99 to 04 all good. Now we got to test the cruise control on the 05 to 2010. So now we got that. The readouts are way different. I mean, see, when you try to use the stock one, when you're pressing on, you're gonna just keep hitting the off button. The truck's gonna think you're hitting off, 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 when you're really like on, 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 on. So those had to be like inverted. And then all the readouts, the set and the two sets are the same, so that's pretty cool. But if you can't even turn it on, we got a problem. So had to figure out the on, and then, which was this one, and then the idles were pretty close. So, but what we're looking for is these values. Right now, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for these values. So at idle, we're at almost 4,300. We're good. So this will be the on button. So we're gonna press on, and we want to see around 2,100. Ooh. Ooh. All right, then to slow down, we want to see 300. There she is. And then to speed up, we want to see 600. Yep, there she is, right on the money. And then I think off is 0. And voila. And then on 21. Yeah, boom. So boom, this should work in an 05 to 2010. And you still get to use your messenger button. So it's a win-win. The only thing you don't get to do with this is you lose the resume button. But I mean, honestly, I don't use it. I don't know anyone who uses the resume button. I mean, you turn on the cruise, you press set, you're done. You want to speed up, press the set. You want to slow down, press the minus. You're done, hit the brakes or hit off. You know, I never use a resume. I think it's a stupid button. So, you know, we did need 5 buttons, but we really only need 4. So I utilized the 4 so we could still use the cruise and still use these messenger buttons for the cluster. So you still get the best of both worlds. The only thing you sacrifice is the resume button and being able to run the full cluster test on the truck. Like if you're having a cluster malfunction, you can basically diagnose it on the truck, and the truck will tell you what the issue is, if it's the switch or whatever the heck it is. But honestly, I mean, how often you running a cruise control test on your truck? Let's be real. You know, I'd rather be messing with the cluster than messing with the cruise test. So, but yeah, this should work with my column kit and the cluster helper cluster. So that was my goal. My column kit, cluster helper cluster thingy. So I just wanted to make this video to show if you have my old column kit and you want to upgrade to a cluster helper, but you don't want to sacrifice the cruise control or whatever, you don't know what to do, now you do. So as you know, the 08 style stuff doesn't have the cluster stuff on there, so you can't do that. Another cool thing too is if you got this fan stuff, I can get those to work on the older trucks. So if you're doing an 08 dash swap and you have digital controls with these buttons, and you want to get these, actually these, and you have like, is it this one? Oh no, it's the other side. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I do. So let's say you have these on your truck now, and you want to go to these ones that have it on the bottom, the fan and the temp on the other side. I can get those going as well, so just let me know. So then if you're doing an 08 dash swap on your older truck, we can get the cruise going and get this fan and temp buttons going on the new steering wheel. So that's pretty cool. So other than that, I think we covered a lot of stuff on these cruise buttons. If you have any questions, let me know. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do this stuff, but who doesn't like cruise control and messing with clusters? So hope this video helps someone out. Adios.